I had a way then.
All right, friends, that was Lights by Ellie Goulding, and we are back for another day of SAT. Today is the last day for the reading section, not the last day of the SAT, but it is the last day from the reading question section. The first question is, do you know how to do a for loop and while loop in code? Do you know how to do a for loop and while loop in code? All right, okay, interesting. This is good to know for me. Thank you. So I think about like half, 50-50. That's pretty good. The next question is, as we continue these classes in the future, would you like me to do high school mathematics? Would you be interested in IB mathematics as potential classes?
Yeah, so the applied math or analytical math?
AA, applied. No, sorry, analytical, AA. Yeah. But I'll send more info. It should be similar. It should be like the overlap between the two is what I'm thinking of doing. The good news is these classes have been extended by 1 week. So we are going till next Friday. If you look at the website, the date has been changed. So these classes are going on till next Friday. We will not be doing SAT till next Friday. We will be doing some new concepts, just like outside. Some of you have given good ideas, and so I'll touch on those. So you can join and be surprised as to what the topic of that day is. All right, so we will do our usual. We will start with the writing. We will not do mathematics. We will just start with writing. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, so let's start with number 12. 1 second. I will put the poll up. Give me 1 second. All right, poll coming up. All right, another 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I have very few responses. Okay, all right. We have 70% responses. Okay, so I want you all to first just look at the responses here. Look at these options. What do you notice about the options? Is there something that you're noticing about these options? And the key thing here is to take this answer and put it here as a result. What do you notice about these answers? Yeah, exactly. So as a result and therefore are the same thing, right? So you just want to look out for that is there. That should not be the only reason you cross both of them out, but just be careful and look out for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing in this question is basically asking us for conjunctions, right? What conjunction to be used here? So we do point of sentence. So point of sentence 1 is Tweed wants to silence. Who does he want to silence? Cartoonist. And point of sentence 2 is Tweed fails. Okay. So as a result, and therefore our cause and effect sentences, relationship, there is no cause and effect. This is like a continuation of a story. There's no cause and effect here. It's not because he silenced them that he failed. He silenced and then he failed. Those are two different things. So there's no cause and effect. So therefore you remove both A and B. So the error is that. Furthermore is something that builds upon, right? So furthermore, a few of you put furthermore. It's also not this because it builds upon. So the right answer is actually D. So I feel like if you're forgetting these rules, I want you to go back and just look at the writing rules again. Do that process we talked about, how to study for writing, and do those rules. Okay, let's do number 13. Let me open the poll. All right, 10 seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, you guys are getting this. All right, so most of you have got this answer, which is amazing. But the question is, have you understood why each question is wrong? So can you tell me why A is wrong? Can you put into chat, what is incorrect in A? What grammar rule is being broken? Okay, so we have misplaced modifier. There's no misplaced modifier here. There's actually no modifier. There's just two sentences joined by, a comma and, which is okay, so we know that. Is there redundancy? There's also no redundancy. This is not a run-on. There's a comma and, so that's okay. Unnecessary wordy, not really. Keep looking, keep looking. The time is, this is not necessary. Well, this is like a big part of the sentence. This is quite important. Okay, yes, someone got it. Okay, the day. This is the issue. Day is the issue. What's the issue with day? Yeah, squinting. Okay, squinting. And what's in layman's term, what's the issue with day? We don't know what day is referring to. Is it referring to political organizations or is it referring to governments? We don't know. So I guess if you were talking about modifier error in terms of the day, then I guess that makes sense. It's more of a pronoun error. It's an ambiguous pronoun error. Okay. So we have that. All right. Can you tell me what is the error in B? And let me give you a hint. There are 2 mistakes in B. Wait, are there 2? Yeah. Yeah, there are 2 mistakes in B. Yeah, misplaced modifier, right? So we have known as political machines. What is known as political machines? We don't really know. It's actually supposed to be political organizations, but notice how far they are. They're not right next to each other. These are supposed to be right next to each other. So misplaced modifier is correct. What is the other mistake here? What's the other mistake? Yeah, Sam, awesome. The other mistake is that. So by adding that, this sentence over here becomes a dependent sentence. And so essentially this becomes a fragment error. you have two dependent sentences being joined, and there's no independent sentence anywhere. Okay, so the error is in the that. So good job if you found both. So this is a helpful process again, because just from one question, you learned so much. You got to confirm your understanding of pronoun errors, misplaced modifier errors, independent sentences errors. So get all the learning out of each question, okay? This is why this process is very helpful. And okay, what about C? C is just all sorts of funny, right? What's wrong in C? Yeah, C is just unnecessarily wordy. It's just they changed the tense, and so it's just unnecessarily wordy. Like it's just a funny sentence structure. Like political machines did so. What does that even mean? Yeah. So C is just weird. Okay, C is weird, but we get the point. The right answer is D. Awesome, we got that done. What's the error in D, Anish? What's the error in D? And Ahan, you had your hand raised earlier. Did you have a question? What was the question?
No, I raised my hand for an earlier question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think D is correct.
Okay. Do you want to? You can ask the earlier question also if you want.
No, I just want to explain why C was wrong in 12. But okay. Yeah, you explain.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Ahan. Comma after political machines. Should there be a comma after political machines? I think there should be a comma after quotes if I think it's somebody speaking it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so because someone's not, the second is not a verbal quote, therefore I don't think there's a comma. But you guys can Google search this. All right, super. So as we mentioned, today is the last reading session. So we are going to get a lot of reading done today, a lot of reading questions done. The prerequisite of today's lesson is you must have read passage 2 from the first Khan Academy test. If you don't have that printed or somewhere available on your computer, please message Naman or put it in the chat and we'll post it in there. You should have it printed by now. And we're gonna go fast today, get through all of this material. And actually there's a lot of interesting things we're gonna learn. So let me share my screen once more and let's get into it. All right, so today we will start with question number 16. We'll continue with this. So let's do number 16 and I will relaunch the poll. I'm sorry, friends, I cannot show the passage. You will have to get the passage on your own somehow, on the computer or print it out. You should, I've sent many emails about this already. If you're new, I'm sorry, Naman shared it in chat. You can get it from there. All right, another 10 seconds. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, why do I have less than 50% responses? Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, I'm not sure why I have less than 50% responses. Have you guys, can you write into chat why? Can you private chat me why? Is it too fast? Have you not read the passage? Were you trying to get the paper open? Okay, I'm gonna go and we're gonna start doing this question. So the one thing I want you guys to see, actually, I want you to look at these answers. Notice how B and C are the most common, right? So this essentially comes down between B and C. This is quite a tricky question. So we'll talk about that. Okay, let me stop sharing this. Until then, can you tell me what is the segmentation of answer A? What is the segmentation of answer A? What type of answer is answer A? And if you've not seen these before, please watch the previous videos. This will make a lot more sense. Okay, so yes, I'm going to end this poll. So it's unsupported. It's absolutely unsupported. Like sincerity has not even been brought up in this thing at all. Like nothing about sincerity has been brought up. So it's absolutely unsupported. It's fake news completely. You could go with incorrect extreme, but see, for it to be an incorrect extreme, there has to be a milder version, which has to be true. But sincerity has not been brought up at all, so therefore it cannot even be incorrect extreme. Okay. Now I know the segmentation doesn't matter as much, but it gets you in the right thought process. So it's not even half correct. It could be opposite actually. People are being sincere, but it's not opposite in this case because sincere is also not the answer to this question, right? Opposite is only when the opposite of that is the answer to the question. Okay. The other thing you should notice when you're doing this question is that unreasonable and incorrect are somewhat similar. These two are somewhat similar. You should just notice that. That's an interesting thing to note. Let's talk about D. Oh, sorry. What's the other thing we notice is that incorrect and substantiated are the opposites of each other. Okay, so you should be noticing these things as you're reading it. So we know that it's either something that is substantiated or correct, or something that is incorrect and unsubstantiated. Okay, so I guess I gave this one away. What type of answer is D? Let me do this again. Yeah, D is opposite. Folks, it's not incorrect extreme. For incorrect extreme, it would have to be, the correct answer would have to be somewhat true, somewhat substantiated, but it's absolutely unsubstantiated. So it's not incorrect extreme. Okay, good. It's opposite. Yep, so this is opposite. Now we're left between two very reasonable options, which is unreasonable and incorrect. So remember, we touched on this yesterday as well, right? When you have two options that you're left with, how do you pick between them? So the way to pick between them is very literally look at the passage and the meanings. So something that's incorrect is something that's wrong. And something that's unreasonable is just that it's not reasonable. So it's a milder version of incorrect. Okay? So it's a milder wrong. Right? It's like saying that it's unreasonable to put incorrect extreme, but it is incorrect to put half correct. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, so then we look for evidence. So where can we look for evidence to help us figure out whether it's B or C? Can you tell us where to look for evidence? 45 to 47. $45 to $47, okay, yep. And 47, assumption, yeah, this is really good. I like this. Assumption may be unfounded, absolutely. Okay, so notice this question is actually trying to trick you. Notice how the portion that they highlighted, which is 41 to 44, is here, okay? This is the portion that they highlighted. And if you look just nearby, the sentence right before says, explanation for this overspending problem. So it's trying to trick you with the word explanation over here. So you may think that it is supported, that it's substantiated. But in these kinds of things, it's always good to read the entire paragraph, okay? So one thing you can add to your pure notes right now is when they've given you a line evidence, read the entire paragraph before you answer the question, because sometimes they may be tricking you. There's also evidence before, which is surprising, right? So what is surprising? This fact is surprising. So it's, again, incorrect. So, and then the other thing you can notice is they're tricking you again over here, which is they're saying a link between a gift price and feeling of appreciation might seem intuitive, okay? you may think that's substantiated, but notice the keyword although. Okay, so this is incorrect because assumption may be unfounded. It's incorrect, right? And then if you look at the graph, if you notice the graph also proves using data that it's incorrect. Okay, cool. Let's do 17 now. Let's do 17. Now we'll launch the poll. Oh yeah, let me scroll up. The right answer was incorrect. This was the right answer. So you're looking for something that proves that the assumption is incorrect. All right, 15 seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, end poll. Okay, I have very few responses again, but that's okay. I understand we read this passage 3 days ago, so I understand that it's a little old, but that's okay. That does not stop us from learning what we need to learn from this. So the approach to this question is let's do what we do, which is keyword analysis. So which choice provides the best evidence for the answer to the previous question? Okay, so if we do the keyword analysis for the previous question, that is, this passage indicates that the assumption made by the gift givers is incorrect. So when we're doing this, we have to be very careful. What exactly are we trying to prove? So remember, for this question, we want to answer both the question and the evidence. So what we're trying to prove is assumption is incorrect, right? And what's the assumption? The assumption is that money is proportional to appreciation, right? That's the assumption. So notice how we want to prove both of these things. The first thing is assumption. Oh, that's not helpful. Let's do this color. Is assumption. That is the question, okay? And the second thing we want to prove is, what color do we use? Incorrect. Is incorrect. That is the answer. So we want to prove both of these things, assumption and incorrect. Okay, so let's go to the passage and see if we can prove both of these things. So 10 to 13, where are we here? Whoa, this is too far up. Okay. 10 to 13, many relish the opportunity. This goes to peers. So remember, don't fall for the near. So this one talks about the relish the opportunity and to build stronger bonds. But, oh no, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. What am I doing? 1 second. Okay, all right, yes. Perhaps to consideration. 53, perhaps to consideration. 53, perhaps to consideration. Okay, so notice how in this question they've talked about, so we were looking to prove incorrect and assumption, that money and appreciation. So they're looking, here they've talked about, somewhat hinted to the fact that it's incorrect, They've hinted to it, but it's not really talked about explicitly. Okay. And here they've talked about more expensive, but they've only talked about thoughtfulness. They've not talked about appreciation. So the two keywords, appreciation and incorrect, have both need to be proved, but they're not both being proved. They're being talked about very slightly. So let's do 55 to 60 now. 55 from according to 60, according to relationships. Okay. So let's talk about this one. Do they talk about being incorrect? They don't even touch about it being incorrect. So incorrect is not even touched on, right? So that's not even half helpful. And then the other thing is, which is money aspect, they talk about ritual, but they're not talking about the money aspect and appreciation. Money being related to appreciation is not talked about. So it's absolutely not helpful. So this is completely wrong. I think this one was half correct. You could do half correct, maybe, but this one is just completely incorrect. Okay. This one, 63 to 65. They do from as to consideration. So here, notice they talk about thoughtfulness and consideration. They may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representative. So this is talking about incorrect, okay? And here they're talking about thoughtfulness and consideration, which is the same thing that they touched on. If you notice, they touched on thoughtfulness and consideration here. So we're getting close again. So this is the closest one we have so far. So they're talking about both about it being incorrect and about appreciation. And then the last one is 75 to 78, from into relations. Okay, so what are they doing here? So they're talking about it being incorrect. So they talk about it being incorrect. So this is good, right? The fail to utilize, that's helpful. But they don't really talk about the aspect of money being related to appreciation. Notice how both A and D explain the phenomenon. Okay, they're explaining the phenomenon in terms of they're explaining why this is happening. They're explaining why this is happening, but they're not providing evidence to support that that is a true understanding or takeaway from the passage. So just be careful. They sometimes try and trick you by making it somewhat related, but not exactly related to the question. Okay, there's a question here, which is, are we allowed to write on the SAT question paper? Yeah, it's printed out, so you should absolutely be able to. Otherwise, all of this doesn't work. You should be able to print it out and do this. Okay, let's do 18. I'll show you where 18 shows up. Convey is over here. 54. Convey is here. Okay, so you guys got that? And now let's do 18, and I will open up the poll. Oh, the answer for 17 was this. All right, 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay, so most of you got this one right. And oh, this makes me sad. None of you put A. That's okay. I will still talk about it. So this is what I want to talk about. Remember yesterday we did the definitions using etymology. So let's look at the etymology of convey. It's actually pretty interesting. So I will share a screen. So etymology for convey. So we again go to etymonline.com, right? This is the good link. Then we go here. So convey, it means to carry or transport. That's the source, which is interesting. So if you think, what word comes to mind in this case? What word can be built with the word convey? Can you think of different words that come from the root convey? Yeah, conveyor belt, exactly, right? So transport is interesting, right? So con means together, via means way or road. So I guess to go together in a vehicle, that's what, and I guess that's where convoy comes from, right? Convoy also comes from this, I would guess. So here's the etymology. So if you guys missed yesterday's session, please watch it. It's very interesting. So notice how etymologically the meaning of convey may mean to transport something. So that's why they have transport as A. So it's very interesting how they make these papers actually. But none of you put that answer. None of you got tricked because we've all done it together, right? We've studied together, and the first rule of these kinds of questions is that context matters. Context matters, right? So that's why A is incorrect. There's nothing about transportation in this. Okay. So convict. I don't know, Neil. Check it out. Check it out on Google. Tell me what it is. Okay, so this one you guys got it. It's D. I'm not going to go through how to do this. You basically plug it in each time. You plug in each time and then you read it. Some of you put exchange. Let's just look at that one. Let's just look at exchange. So perhaps givers believe that bigger gifts exchange stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. Again, if you just put in exchange, it doesn't really make sense. So that on its own should be good. And then actually, is there any support for this nearby? Is there any definition or support for this nearby? Yeah, there we go. Okay, signal their positive attitudes. Right, so this is the nearby support for convey. So I think so far we've always found nearby support, so you can look for it. Okay, all right, this is good. This is good. We're doing good progress. Let's do 19. Oh, actually, before we do 19, sorry, let me just touch on Arushi's question. So in these questions, is it helpful to read these options before doing this question? Is it helpful? So my thought is you want to leave that as a last resort. Reason being is you want to use your own knowledge of the passage and the secret sauce that we've used to at least cross out a bunch of options. So if we've crossed out D and A, and then you're left with B and C, then if you're really struggling to find your own evidence, you can come and look for evidence in the next section. And so that is perfectly fine. It's probably even going to save you more time than to look for your own evidence. But I do want to say that when you are searching for evidence for all of these questions, the evidence-based approach should not be you going back every time and searching for evidence exactly. It's more if you read the passage actively the first time round, then you will know in your head where exactly the evidence might be. And so you narrow down there. So you're not reading the passage entirely every single time. So I think it's a good strategy to go here and look at these options, but I would only keep that as a last resort. I would not keep that as a for always. Okay. All right. Let's do 19 now. All right, 15 seconds. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull. Okay, we have a couple more answers. This is good. Maybe some of you read this one. Okay, so most of you are getting this right. I think a bit more than half of you, so that's good. Now let's learn from this answer and let's see what we can learn. So let's do keyword analysis. The author refers to work by Kammerer and others in order to. Okay, so what's the work by Kammerer and others? Let's go to 56. Work by Kammerer and others is, according to this, okay, this is the work. Okay, so when you're given something, a quote like this, it's always good to read the entire paragraph, and then you can find support nearby. So this paragraph starts with the question why, right? It starts with why. And the question keeps going till here. And then it offers two explanations. The first explanation that it offers is here. And actually, no, not two explanations. And then this, if you do the point of sentence, this is evidence for the explanation offered in one. Okay, so the paragraph's structure is, it asks a question, offers an explanation, and then evidence for that explanation. Okay, and then if we keep going, it explains that evidence more. So that's the structure of the paragraph. So given that, we can know that it is offering an explanation is the right answer. Okay, but what is something that you notice in these questions? What we should notice if we just look at this question is that we have explanation, argument, question, and support a conclusion. Okay, so these are pretty strong words. So argument and explanation are almost opposites, right? So we can label this one as opposite. There's no argument in that passage at all. Like there's no argument is being introduced. So if this is also fake news, okay? Question and motive, this is coming back to the silly concept talked about here, which is insincere. There's no insincerity, or there's no motive that's being questioned. So again, this is fake news. And then I want you to tell me what type of answer is D. What type of answer is D? Okay, let me end poll. So a lot of you have said half correct. Can you put into chat why? 50% of you have said half correct. Can you put into chat why you said half correct? I see. So you're saying that the conclusion is correct. Okay, so let's go back up over here. So I think this is more incorrect extreme, because I think conclusion is too strong of a word. And so from my perspective, I don't agree with the conclusion aspect of this. They're offering an explanation to the question, that's why, right? And notice the evidence comes in perhaps. Perhaps is the evidence. So you cannot have a conclusion that's perhaps. You can have a potential explanation, but the conclusion, it cannot be that. So I hope that makes sense. So I would label D as incorrect extreme. So this is interesting because most of you, I think most of you put half correct. So be careful. The takeaway for this question is that everything is evidence based, so supported from the passage. And if you're not getting these, it's perfectly fine. You read the passage 3 days ago, so it's okay. You're just learning to use the tools. Okay. Let's take a quick break. and then we will do these. Okay, 1 second. Okay, all right. So I've put Naman in the waiting room again, like yesterday, but I want to address something. So when we filled out the first questionnaire yesterday, there were 100 responses. But then when I asked you all to fill out the gratitude questionnaire, there were only 66 responses. And so that was a little concerning to me because, you know, a lot of effort has been put into making these classes happen. And Naman has been putting in a tremendous amount of effort to do this. He's been putting in at least an hour every single day. He does these questions all on his own, figures out all of the support, you know, evidence support, what type of secret sauce it is. And then he tells me, and then I check it, and then I teach it. So essentially the entire thing is being done by him. He's also taking the screenshots of all the answers, because of which, you know, I can have them printed out like this, you know, and check. So he does screenshots for every single one of them. If you remember, for the writing exercise, I had a separate sheet with all the answers typed out. So he typed out manually all of the 44 questions in the writing section. Okay, so a lot of effort is being put in to make these things happen. So I just want you guys to ask yourself, for the 30 or 35 of you that did not fill out could not write a thank you, I just want you to ask yourselves, why is that? A lot of effort is being put into it. And so can you not find, you know, some place in your heart to just say thank you so much to the people that are putting this together for you? So this is quite concerning to me. So I want to give you a second chance. I want to give you all a second chance to ameliorate that. So I'm going to send you the link one more time. He is doing a lot of, so for this time, the link, only Naman is required. Only the Naman is required. If you already did it yesterday, that's great. I really appreciate it. I read through them. Some of them were really, really nice. Some of you referred to him as a nickname. Some of you also wrote very nice things to the other TAs. Like there was one of you who wrote down that although as a TA you don't speak much, but just know that your effort have not gone unnoticed. And I thought that was just so sweet. So thank you for logging in every single day. Thank you for the work that goes behind the scenes, even if it goes unnoticed. It certainly helps in our learning experience. So some of you are very, very kind and very nice, and I really appreciate that. But I just want to address to those 30 people that did not. So I'm going to give you another chance. For this one, if writing it for 4 people is too difficult for you, I would like you to at least write a thank you for Naman. He's put in countless hours doing this. This is basically his full-time thing that he's up to this summer. So only one is required in the survey. So please fill that out. And if for those of you that are, you know, not able to do it for somebody else, just know that according to behavioral economics, doing an activity in gratitude and saying thank you actually makes us feel happier. Even if it doesn't do anything for the other person, it puts us in a happier mood. So maybe when you're writing it, you can experience that as well. So I just want to read out a couple very kind, very nice thank you notes that were written out, because 70 of you did write it, and they were so sweet, extremely sweet. So I really appreciate what you did there. Someone was like, thank you for not cracking under pressure and actually helping. Thank you for telling me about this class. Thank you for the polls. Thank you for sending me the invitation. Thank you for my newfound IQ. I'm glad that we both at least learned something together. Screw quarantine. You are very smart and very helpful. Oh, disappeared. Okay. Okay, I see. Oh, I see. I'm getting more responses. That's why. Okay. But some of you guys did really well. I also want to just address that you are absolutely welcome to do it again. If you think that your thank you note yesterday could merit a little bit more heart in it, then you are absolutely welcome to write it again. There's no such thing as saying over thank you. And there's a lot of different people in these classes. In this class specifically, this is a very important point. There are people that write thank you every time before they log out of this class, right? There are people that write thank you with a reason, like thank you for, and this is what I learned. There are people that whenever they send me an email, they write, thank you so much for these classes. And then they ask their questions. And then on the other end, there's people that just ask me a question. And so put yourself in my perspective, okay? I'm getting, there's 114 of you or 130 of you, and I'm getting conversations with different people. There are different people that I remember. There are people that are polite and say thank you and are appreciative. And those are the people that I remember. And there are people that participate. And again, those are the people that I remember. So even if it's not for me, even if you can't care about me, just from your perspective, saying thank you enables you to build a better relationship with the person on the other side. And this is very important when you go to university. When you go to university, rarely ever does anyone say thank you to the professor or have a conversation with the professor, even though at the end, the grade is being given by the professor. Like if I was grading you right now, I would think twice before giving someone, a very polite person, a bad grade. And that happens all the time in universities. Professors' grading is not like SAT, which is done by a machine and it's correct or incorrect. It's not as just an exact science. It's up to the professor's whims and fancies. And it happens so often. I had very good relationships with my professor. That is one of the reasons why I also got good grades in university. So having a good attitude and a positive attitude and manners can go a long way. So thank you. I have 93 responses now. This makes me very happy. And I bring this up, this is a serious conversation I'm having with you because this is very important in every aspect of your life. Just think of yourself. What are things that are happening in the world to which you can say thank you for? Can you be thankful to the people at home that bring you food? Can you be thankful to the people that are keeping you safe in this country from the virus? Can you say thank you to the people that are giving you education, paying for your school? There's so many things to be thankful for. And at the end of it, it only helps us be happier and content. And activity and gratitude, according to behavioral economics, only helps us be happier, nobody else. Okay? So thank you very much. I have 100 responses now. Great, let's let him back in. Naman, are you back? Dude, Naman, why do you keep going to the waiting room, man? What's happening over there? Is somebody else teaching SAT in the waiting room?
No, I don't know. I've had the problem yesterday also.
Yeah, dude, what's happening? We got to figure it out. All right, we'll figure it out after this, okay? But you let me know, right? If somebody else is teaching SAT in the waiting room, you'll let me know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't have competition like this. All right. Okay. Okay. So there's another activity I want you guys to do. So for the next 1 minute, I'm going to put a timer. For the next 1 minute, I want you all to not smile. Okay. Whatever happens, you're not allowed to smile. Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. So for the next 1 minute, you are not allowed to smile. Okay. So for this one, can we all turn on our videos for 2 minutes? So let's all turn on our videos, please. Okay. All right, nice. We're getting videos. Hello. Oh my gosh, friends, I can see you. Okay, so we're going to start the timer now, okay? You're not allowed to smile. So ready, set, go.
I can't hear you, Pulkit. Shit.
Okay, no matter what happens, you're not allowed to smile. No matter what Ahan says, you are not allowed to smile, okay? So we're only halfway through, all right? Some of you have already failed, okay? So we have Asundar failed, Tanay failed, okay? Oh, I'm seeing a smile come from Alana. She's, oh, there we go, she broke, all right. How much time do we have left? 15 seconds. Anybody else? Oh, Alana's smiling again. Yeah. All right. Okay, all right. That's 1 minute. Great. So we're gonna come back to me. Now, the question I have for you is, did you win the challenge? Did you win the challenge? Yeah, I lost the challenge as soon as it started. Okay, so all right, this is what we have. I want you to see this. So this is what we have. 70% of you won the challenge, okay? And 29% of you lost the challenge. So here's the point. The point is, was this a challenge worth winning? I want you to ask yourself a question. Was this challenge worth winning? Let me do this again. Was this challenge worth winning? Yeah, so okay, 73% of you said no. Okay, so let me put this into perspective for you. There was a minute of your life that just went by where you had the opportunity to smile, and your body was also wanting you to smile, but you were actively stopping happiness, joy, and a smile coming out on your face because I made some stupid challenge for you, right? But was this challenge really worth winning? Or is it better to have a minute of smile in your life and happiness in your life than to have won a stupid competition that does not even matter? Like, I don't even know who won or didn't win. We just know that Alana smiled twice. I know that. So in that 1 minute, she smiled twice. She had 2 moments of joy, but other people did not. So the question I want to ask yourself again is, was this challenge worth winning? Okay. So I bring this up because as you go through high school and college and tests and things like that, just when you put yourself in a rat race, just ask yourself, is this rat race worth it? Is it worth my time and soul and energy to do it? Okay. And I stress joy and happiness a lot. Maybe it's because Pulkit means happiness in olden Hindi, but you just want to ask yourself, is it worth it? Okay, so hopefully if we were to do this exercise again, I wish that everybody fails at this exercise, right? Because I would want everybody to have a minute of smiles and a minute of happiness, right? Okay, and thank you, Ahan, for having that, for the nice comedy in the middle. That made the challenge more difficult for a lot of people. All right, great. So I said we'll finish up the questions. So let's go back and let's finish up the questions. Okay, so this is, we're introducing one more type, which is 20. Let's do number 20 real quick. This is new type because it's about graph. So can I put the graph on the same page? No, I cannot. I'm sorry, my friends. You don't get the graph. So let's do number 20. The answer for 19 was, offer an explanation. All right, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pull. Okay, so whenever you have a graphing question in reading, it's the same approach as we followed in writing, which is use the graph, okay? Use the graph plus passage. So you can write this down in your peer notes as another type of question. Use the graph and passage. So the graph following the passage offers evidence that gift givers base their predictions, of how much the gift will be appreciated on. What on? So if we look at the graph, we see that the givers think that less expensive will be less appreciation and more expensive will be more appreciation. But the receivers actually have more expensive and less expensive is somewhat the same appreciation. So the givers think more expensive will be more appreciation, but actually it's somewhat the same. So the correct answer for this one is monetary value. You can immediately cross out C and D. C and D are just unsupported. There's no own desires for the gifts they purchase. That's not even been talked about at all. Relationship with the gift givers is also not why the evidence and the prediction. Okay, there's not. It's true but unrelated to question. You can have relationships with the gift recipient, but it's not related to the question. You can be stuck between A and B, and A is, if you just read the graph just off of what the graph is saying, then you think it's A. But A is not answering the question. It's not offering any evidence. Yeah, the on is key here. So on is for B. Okay, we are running out of time. So let me just do this question with you real quick. So the author would likely attribute the difference in gift giver and recipient mean appreciation as represented in the graph. Again, a graph question. 2. So what is the cause of the difference? So inability to shift perspective is the right answer. And increasingly materialistic, this is not supported. Growing opposition to gift giving, again, unsupported. And misunderstanding of intentions. This could be an incorrect extreme, like misunderstanding, but intentions, again, have not been talked about. So all of these are actually all fake news. And the support of inability to shift perspectives come somewhere. Can someone write in the chat where the support comes? I think it is 70 to 75. Yeah. Here we go. The key is here. Struggle to transfer information gained from one role. Okay, so that's all we have for today. Reading is done. Tomorrow we start writing. We start the essay. We will do the essay, so I will prepare for that. And let me send you out with some Frozen.
Into the unknown.